This is your Weather Xtreme video for Saturday, April the 30th, the last day of April. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. That makes us two-thirds of the way through our major severe weather season for the year. Let's take a look at the surface map this morning, and the surface map features a low-pressure system over the Central Plains states, and that is producing a bit of weather over the central part of the United States as well as over some of the southeastern U.S. In the upper atmosphere, we have a closed low located just east of Denver. That closed low is forecast to move out across the Central Plains and the Ohio River Valley over the next 24 hours, but it will leave a bit of a low pressure back over the southwestern U.S., but we do have some pretty big changes coming in the upper airflow. We'll get to those in just a moment. Satellite image this morning shows that we have a good deal of high cirrus clouds over much of the southeastern United States, including central Alabama, but we will see few peaks at the sun later today. Temperatures this morning starting out fairly mild with readings generally in the lower 60s. As a matter of fact, temperatures across the state are actually pretty uniform. Just a little bit warmer down there at Mobile, where they're around 73, but most other stations reporting between about 62 and 67 or so across the state. Radar showing that we do have a line of thunderstorms along the Mississippi River and just west of the Mississippi River, extending down into the Houston area, and I'm sure those folks down there don't need any more rain after the significant rains they had a couple of weeks ago. The Storm Prediction Center has some severe thunderstorm watches out for that area, as well as some flash flood watches. Those are the areas in green. The brighter green are actually flood warnings. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a standard slight risk for just about the western half of the state of Alabama, along with a large portion of the lower and mid-Mississippi River Valley, all the way from southern Illinois and southern Indiana all the way down to the Gulf Coast. That is for day one, which goes through tomorrow morning. Day two, we have a marginal risk over parts of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, parts of South Texas, and up into the Ohio River Valley. And then for day three, for the southeastern U.S., it's primarily a thunderstorm outlook. So things will finally be settling down, but we are headed for a period of somewhat unsettled weather. Let's get to the GFS modeling this morning, and there is a look at our pattern at the 500 millibar level around 20,000 feet or so. And we can see that closed low just to the east-northeast of Denver beginning to come out across the central United States. Underneath that, we have a surface low over northern Missouri with a cold front that is stretching down into southeast Texas. And, of course, we just saw that rain that was just ahead of it. Storm Prediction Center does have the western half of Alabama under a slight risk, the standard slight risk. It looks like damaging wind, and the potential for isolated tornadoes will be there for the afternoon and evening hours. Cape values are certainly sufficient, with values that are getting up into the 2,000 to 2,500 joules per kilogram range. Looking at the HRR, the high resolution model, and that's been doing a fairly good job with the last couple of days. At 18Z today, that's 1 o'clock, it shows that the rain's still along, but just east of the Mississippi River, and we're getting some showers out ahead of it, which is pretty much what we kind of expect. Take it another 6 hours, which is very close to the end of the period that the HRR runs through, and we can see that the rain and showers and thunderstorms are moving into central Alabama. So it looks like the primary threat for us is going to come later in the afternoon, let's say mid-afternoon to early evening hours. Getting back to the models, that one upper low that was east of Denver moves out into and approaching Chicago by tomorrow at midday, around 1 o'clock, 18Z. It does leave a little bit of a low-pressure area back over the southwestern U.S., but underneath that, the surface low moves up into the Ohio River Valley, and the cold front still trails back along the Mississippi River, so the front is going to be slow to come our way. On Monday, that general low-pressure area over the southwestern U.S. begins to come out as above that to the north, we see the development of a very substantial ridge. Now, as this low pressure area, this trough, comes out of the southwestern U.S. across Missouri and Kansas there, it's going to phase with some of that other energy coming out of central Canada, and that's going to help to deepen a trough over the eastern half of the U.S. So we're going to see a major change in the upper level pattern. At the surface low moves over into New England and just along the Massachusetts and Rhode Island coast, with the front trailing down through the southeastern U.S. So Monday we're going to stay somewhat unsettled as well. Tuesday, we finally begin to see this trough phasing up over the eastern half of the country, and it looks like we'll probably have to include a lingering chance of showers on Tuesday, but it looks like Tuesday we should begin the drying process, and it looks like with a large high-pressure system off to our west that we won't be seeing temperatures dive, but they will be cooling off with that trough over the eastern half of the country. Wednesday, that trough, it continues to phase up with a big ridge over the western part of the United States. And again, that brings that high pressure over Texas and brings us with a bit of a northerly flow. So we'll see temperatures more typical for this time of year. But by Thursday and then into Friday, we see that the trough really bottoms out over the eastern half of the country. So it looks like even by Friday morning, we could see temperatures for lows, especially on Friday morning, could be down in the 40s, and I mean well down in the 40s. So we'll be seeing temperatures on the order of about 10 degrees colder than we normally are for early May. Now, by Saturday, that trough has moved off the east coast of the United States. We're coming under the ridge, so it looks like Saturday is going to be just an absolutely gorgeous day for us, with a large high-pressure system over Tennessee and Kentucky, and activity beginning to develop off to our west. Now, looking out into Voodoo country, the weather pattern remains very active. We see that through Sunday, the ridge stays with us, so I think we stay in good weather through Sunday. But by the time we reach Tuesday, we have another trough that's coming across the Mississippi River, so that spells another period of wet weather. We see yet another very substantial closed low and trough over the eastern half of the country, with the western ridge, once again, another coolish pattern around the 12th of May. And then when we get out to the end of the period around the 15th of May, the overall pattern is beginning to flatten out, which is exactly what you would expect as we get into the latter part of May. As we approach the summer season, we kind of see that happen. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I'll have the next one posted first thing on the blog on Sunday morning. In the meantime, you can stay tuned for notes on Alabama's weather. And I'll be filling in for Megan at the 6 o'clock news on ABC 3340. Plus, we're going to both be out at the Celebrate Hoover Day out at Veterans Park just off Valleydale Road in Hoover, if you want to come out and have some great fun and eat some great food. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great Saturday and Godspeed.